while some think that this is an electioneering strategy, I want to assure you that it is not.
In your election news headlines, the SAWA, South Africa's Deputy President Paul Mashatile, has assured South Africans that the suspension of load shedding is not an electioneering strategy. Mashatile was speaking at the African United Business Confederation Roundtable. This was in Johannesburg.
We will tackle child kidnapping and child murder by creating specialized units to go hard after those criminals who prey on our children.
In the Eastern Cape, DA leader John Steenhuisen has promised to eradicate crime, gender-based violence and unemployment in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro if the DA wins the province after the elections. He was speaking during the party's campaign in Gqeberha. In KZN, EFF Secretary General Marshall Dlamini is today leading an EFF campaign in Gamsane in Dubatuba in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, has the IEC put measures to assist persons abaphila nokhubazeka and special needs to have an independent and secret vote during ukhetho? And how has the IEC communicated these measures? And does the IEC have a campaign that addresses issues of the elderly and persons with disabilities? Sinbingelele Sinamgele, kanti you are through to isiqephu sanamuhla say Elections 360 Daily, and this is your elections content show. Kanti ke igama ngumqolisi wakwaMasango. We will be crisscrossing Mzansi Africa and giving you an opportunity to give us your views on different subject matters. This happens every Monday to Thursday from 5 to 5:30 p.m. SABC 1 Mzansi for sure, good DTT, as well as all of our digital platforms. Namuhla, we are talking about catering for people living with disabilities and the elderly during ukhetho. Kumbula ke now you can be a part of lenkulumo le namhlanje ngokushayela ucingo ku 011 714 0731. You can also hit us up on our social media platforms. Sikhona ku X as @SABC Izindaba, as well as on Facebook as @SABC Izindaba. Kumbula ke ukusebenzisa hashtag yethu ethi Elections 360 Daily. This makes it easy for us to pick up all of your engagement. Kanti ke isiqephu sanamuhla se Elections 360 Daily siqala njengamanje. And of course, a resounding welcome to ivakashi zethu namhlanje. We welcome Moagisi Sibanda, who's the Commission's GM for Civic Education and Research at the Independent Electoral Commission, Onati Ge Studio. And joining us via our phone line, we also welcome Mr. Alan Downey, who is founder and executive director of Disability Info South Africa, IDISA Ngamafubi. We thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the program today. Looking forward to our engagement.
Thank you so much.
Right. Ensuring that elections are accessible and inclusive for all citizens, including those living with disabilities and the elderly, is a crucial for upholding democratic principles. Challenges such as physical barriers, a lack of awareness, and insufficient accommodations often hinder their participation in the electoral process. Now, as we approach election season, it's important to address wonkelama issues and how can we ensure that every eligible voter, regardless of their abilities or age, can exercise their right to vote freely and independently. Let's hear how people living with disabilities feel about this matter.
Whenever we get a chance to do our social programs, IEC has been one of those silent partners, of which they've been with us to come and campaign and to educate our people.
Inkinga esinayo emirolens angisikaze sabona IEC izakithi mhlambe bathi sizonceda abantu abakhubazekile bazovota nini bayenza kanjani ukuthi bakhona ukuthi bavote.
Ngingasho ngithi IEC iluncedo ukuthi kakhulu njengoba ngikule environment kubantu abaphila ne-disability ngoba bayasivakashela basenze aware ngezinto ezizokwenzeka ukuthi manje kuzovota balindele ini kuthina basifundisa ngento zokuvota.
They explained it briefly ukuthi kwenzakalani ukuthi understand ukuthi okay into ezenzeka into sona sona so. Mina they're going to use fingerprint ink. Then ngibeke ilimb yami and then ngibeke la ngivukule part ngivotelayo.
Ewe sijam dikaqala ngokuthi eqaleni dikaqala ngokuthi anti-restalsaka mos koba engana lwazi eligqibiselileyo kovota bo since difikile lapha bon difike ya late sebebhalisiwa bantu.
And of course, we did introduce you to ihambeli zethu namhlanje that will further this very important discussion with us. Let's start with you, Ms. Sibanda. Perhaps kesizwe ke ukuthi njengoba sesizwile some of the challenges or inselele that are faced by abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka when they head to the polls. What has the IEC done ukuqinisekisa ukuthi their experience, first of all, is an experience that will see them also be able to cast their ballot ngomhla ka-29? Or when they cast their special votes?
Their special vote. Thank you very much for the question. I think, first of all, is to say that as the Electoral Commission, we are here as the election management body to ensure that we cater for all voters and all South Africans. Are you living with disabilities or not? And therefore, it's important for us at the Commission that everybody has the right to a secret vote as a constitutional right, but also to a dignified experience at our voting stations. And so what we have done, we work very closely with persons with disabilities. Within the department that I work in as the Civic and Democracy Education Department, we actually have a very specific account just for conducting campaigns, stakeholder engagements, workshops, trainings for persons with disabilities. We work very closely with the sector. And in fact, to ensure that we have the secret vote, we developed with the sector what we call the universal ballot template. It is a voting aid in which persons who are blind, but are not steady when they're voting, to ensure that they have a secret vote but also vote correctly. They're able to insert their ballot paper into this UBT. It has braille and large font numbers, and all of the windows in the UBT, it has windows and it aligns with the blocks with the various parties. And they're able then to have a secret vote within the booth as voters. So we work very closely with the sector. Throughout the year, we've been conducting stakeholder engagements. As I said, it's a dedicated program within the IEC.
Yeah, and as you mentioned all of that, I need to bring in Mr. Downey because I need to get a sense and a feel whether all of these efforts that Mr. Banda is talking about today are actually enough. What is your take, Mr. Downey?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. So let's hear, what do you think of the IEC's efforts to ensure that they've done voter, awareness around people living with disabilities?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Downey. Continue.
Hi. So yes, I mean I've had feedback that the special vote that they've organised has been very well organised and well received. There is obviously concerns, although a lot of organisations have shared that information out to the public, that people in rural areas that don't have access to the internet may not be aware of it, although we do know of organisations that are creating awareness about it out in the rural areas. But it would have also been great if we could have heard more about it throughout the year, earlier on in the year, and maybe even before that, so that the word got out there earlier. But there does seem to be a lot of feedback that I've received that it's gone very smoothly for organisations and homes for persons with disabilities. They've been able to set it up quite easily.
And I also want to hear from you. How does your organisation, DASA, engage with electoral authorities and other stakeholders? This is to address these barriers as well as promote inclusive electoral processes as DISA.
Well, we work with various organisations, but we try to promote access as well as, which includes information. The issues that we have, and I'm just speaking from past elections, and where there is currently voting stations, a lot of the areas are still inaccessible. So although there's you can vote from home, a lot of people may be not aware of it, and will still go out to the voting stations, and unfortunately we see that some of these voting stations are still not accessible. They have to cross sandy fields, and there's sometimes steps to get in. And although the IEC has said that they will help people in wheelchairs, you know, a lot of people don't want to be helped. They actually want to be able to do it themselves, and some wheelchairs cannot just be picked up. They can easily be broken if you pick them up from the wrong place and so on. So ideally, we would like to see every place that is chosen to be where you could go to make your votes, that it is absolutely accessible. And that includes lower voting stations where somebody can actually, if he's in a wheelchair, he can actually, and as I'm just talking from the past, I don't know, I'm not aware of any information where they have made lower voting stations where people can reach it from sitting in a wheelchair and be able to vote without needing.
And tell you what, Mr. Downey, what I'm going to do, I think all this points to a need for collaboration with the various organizations as well, with the IEC, and we'll be finding out a bit more on those. Umasbuye Kefeno Sakhezi nathi khona la ku Elections 360 Daily Mbukeli, back after this. Sakhezi nathi khona la ku Elections 360 Daily. So it is very important to make sure ukuthi wonke umuntu can vote easily. We need to talk more about things ezifana nama-ramps kanye nama-signs, and we'll continue the discussion kanye nevakashi zethu khona la e-studio. And let's continue with Ms. Subanda. I think Mr. Downey has said a mouthful ngaphambi kokuthi siye ekhefini. Let's talk about some of the things that you have put in place. But first of all, usicacisele ukuthi ngabe yini a special vote nokuthi ubani oqualifyayo for a special vote for the benefit of ababukeli bethu njengamanje.
Yes, very, very important, especially because special vote applications close this Friday, 5 p.m. So Friday, 3rd May, special votes close. And special votes are there again to accommodate, because as I said earlier, we try our best to accommodate all South Africans to ensure that everybody is able to participate effectively. So if you are physically infirm or you are ill and at home and not able to go to the voting station, you must apply for special vote by SMSing your ID to 32249. But you can check those details as well on our website, or fill out a form on our website just with your ID number and just some details. So either if you are working essential services on the day, if you're a journalist like yourself and you know you'll be posted somewhere, because remember you must vote where you're registered this year. So if you're not able to come on the 29th, apply for special vote to vote on the 27th and the 28th. But that application must reach us by 5 p.m. on Friday the 3rd. Or you can also, if you want to apply for a home visit, Mr. Downey also spoke about home visit for people who are not able to go to a voting station, because as the IEC, it really, really is discouraging for us when we see elderly people or people who are not mobile being carried in wheelbarrows, because South Africa is a largely rural country. So it's not a dignified way to experience voting day. It should be a celebratory day. We're able to come to you, but you need to apply once again for home visits. We have also deployed outreach education facilitators around the country, around 2,500 of those, and it also includes persons with disabilities that we have recruited, because they're able to assist us with sign language, but also just inclusive recruitment of people at IEC. So it's very, very important that if you are in need of a home visit or are not able to physically come to a voting station on the 29th of May, please do apply for a special vote by the 3rd of May, which is this Friday.
Yeah, so kusho ukuthi ugogo or umkhulu ongasakwazi ukufinyelela a voting station
Yes.
kumele ukuthi anithumele umqhafazo lo, so you
Yes.
able ukuthi ni capture ama details akhe ku system
Capture-
as some
yes.
form of registration, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So as long as you're a registered voter, when you SMS your ID number to that 32249, will be able to tell you almost immediately that you will qualify. And somebody can apply for you, somebody who is trusted, and you'll be able to also apply and be able to go and vote on the 27th or 28th, or apply for a home visit if you're not able to even physically go to a voting station. But we want all South Africans who wish to vote to be able to vote in this election.
And Mr. Downey, to circle it back to you right now, I think we're in an era where technology is also playing a crucial role in ensuring that it brings us together as a people, but also has turned us into one big global village. Let's speak about some of the things that can be done to enhance a voter experience, particularly for people living with disabilities.
Yeah, as I said, you know, the home visit is great, and the visits that they organise into the different homes, and as I said, I've had a good report back. But it's always that, you know, that situation where if you do go out to vote, you know, with your family and you are a person with disabilities, that you get preferential treatment, which in many cases they are given, but that, as I said, that the places are accessible. And also just with regards to the home visits, and I'm sure you'll be able to confirm this, that the people that are going out to the homes are clearly identified as IEC assistance, because you're living in a country where there is a high crime rate. There is a concern that you're letting somebody into your home may not be the right person. You know, it could be somebody pretending to be an IEC official. So that is always a concern for persons with disabilities as well. And it would be great just to hear on that topic.
All right. And of course, I think, Ms. Sibanda, you were also listening in Njengamanje, ukuthi safety is also a concern. Ama voters ethu baqinisekisa kanjani ukuthi this person that's coming in Njengamanje is indeed a representative of the IEC?
Yeah, all our officials will be dressed in IEC, clearly marked IEC clothing. And in fact, it will be also branded for this particular election. So nobody should come with a 2016 NPE, for example. It will be clearly marked, they're dressed, and they will bring all our official material to come and vote. We also contact voters who will be visiting, because we do know exactly who we're visiting. We inform them what time we will be coming so that we know that they are home, because sometimes we struggle with people who have said they'll be at home and then you knock and then there's nobody there. But we do make sure that we call them even the day before or that day that we are coming, such and such an official is coming to you. Please allow them to come and assist you.
Just so they are aware.
Yes.
Spark it there for now. Guess you think it's Mbugeli siyabuya emva kwalokho sesivala inkulumo yethu. Hlala nathi khona la ku Elections 360 Daily. So Mbugeli, sesifike maphethelweni nenkulumo yethu namhlanje, and we continue nevakashi zethu. And Mr. Downey, we're just wrapping it up right now. Let's just quickly hear from you. Just moving forward, how would you ensure that you work together with the IEC to ensure that people living with disabilities have a fulfilling experience as part of this democratic process that is going to be unfolding shortly?
Yeah, it's just all about reaching out to us. You know, we are a small organization ourselves. We work with bigger organizations, and but we're there to help at the end of the day, to pass on the information and assist where we can. So they're welcome to reach out to us and contact us when they need assistance.
All right, Alan Downey is founder and executive director of Disability Info South Africa, Disa Ngamafubi. Thank you so much for your time there on the line. And Mr. Banda, we're wrapping it up njengamanje. Ithi-ke ukuthi izinto ezi-practical or inyathelo eniyithathile uqinisekisa ukuthi the voting experience is a one that abantu with disabilities can fully go for njengamanje ezi-practical nje indlela.
So, you know, one way in which Mr. Downey spoke about for people who are using wheelchairs at our voting stations, we do have voting booths that are lowered for the table so that a person with a wheelchair is able to use that comfortably. As I said, really our aim is to ensure that everybody has an independent and secret vote. So we do provide those type of booths. And because we don't own any of our facilities that we use for voting stations, most of them are schools and public facilities. Most of them generally do have ramps because it's something we're very aware of. But that may not be the case everywhere, but really the majority do have ramps for people in wheelchairs or people who need some aid and a smooth walking surface. Okay,
before Sikvalelisa, just quickly rehash that number again for us.
So if you want to apply, you can even go to our WhatsApp number, which is 0600 880000. You'll be able to find all information in audio as well as animations.
All right, now nalama details are on your screen. Njengamanje mbukeli sibonga kakhulu ukuthi nibe nathi namhlanje. Sibonga kakhulu kwi-guest yethu namhlanje. That's Moagisi Sibanda, Commission GM for Civic Education and Research at the IEC. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Mbukeli kuze kube ngokuzayo nesale kahle.